Hi everyone. So my name is Lindsay, and this week I am presenting incarcerated parents and the impacts that having incarcerated parents can have on children. So when we're looking at the definition and scope of the issue, recent estimates show that 2.7 million U.S. children have a parent who is incarcerated, and more than 5 million children, or 7% of all U.S. children, have at one point had a parent in prison or jail. And here in this chart that I included in this slide, you can see the number of U.S. children with an incarcerated parent grew 5 times from 1980 to 2012. So when looking at the scope of the issue, Park and Clark Stewart share the gender of the parent is a major factor in patterns of incarceration. So fathers account for 90% of incarcerated parents. However, the number of mothers in prison grew at a faster rate than the number of incarcerated fathers across the decade between 1991 and 2000. There was an 87% increase for mothers, but only a 61% increase for fathers. So not surprisingly, in view of their unequal rates of incarceration, the parents' ethnicity matters as well. In both state and federal prisons, there are more African American parents, so between 47 and 49% in state and federal prisons, than either Hispanic parents, which is between 19 and 30%, or white non-Hispanic parents, 22% to 29%. So stating this radical disparity in terms of minor age children, nearly 7% of African American children, 3% of Hispanic children, and 1% of white children of the total population of children in the US had an incarcerated parent. So in terms of age, 58% of children with incarcerated parents are under 10 years of age, with 8 years of age being the mean age. And I highlighted down here at the bottom that 1 in 5 children are present at the time of the arrest and are witnessing the parent being taken away by authorities. So some of the effects that incarceration can have on children, I broke it up by different sort of ages. So looking at infants, there really limits the emotional bond and attachment that the child can have to the parent, and it brings potentially emotionally and behavioral problems. When looking at toddlers, they tend to have poorer peer relationships, diminished cognitive abilities, and may exhibit externalizing behavior such as anger, aggression, hostility towards caregivers and siblings. And then looking at school-age children, so a lot of them tend to have problems with peer relationships, poor academic performance, and behavioral issues in the classroom. So suspension and dropout rates tend to be higher in those ages. And then I highlighted here at the bottom that boys are more likely to exhibit externalizing behavioral problems, while girls are more likely to display internalizing problems. So then some more effects that this can have on children. So barriers to housing. So returning parents struggle to find or maintain safe, stable housing for their families, or if they live apart, just for themselves. And some barriers to employment as well. When parents who have spent time in prison can find jobs, they tend to work fewer weeks annually and earn less than their counterparts without a record. So while incarceration hits children and their families hard, their communities also feel the blow. Many are already in poverty and contend with crime, poor quality housing, low performing schools, and a low amount of resources that further prevent families from creating a safe and nurturing home environment for those kids. So here I just included a chart here of, impacts that it could have on children's overall physical and mental health. So you can see, children with incarcerated fathers, higher, percentages of some mental health and physical health issues. And then down here it has children with either parent incarcerated. So either way, you can see an increase in those, behavioral, mental, and physical health issues. So looking at the literature, the United States government established the prison system in 1891. So this has thus been a problem ever since for children. So Warren, Coker, and Collins explain that general strain theory and attachment theory are useful to conceptualize the impact of incarceration on children. So they explain general strain theory as it originated from the work of Merton in 1938, and the theory explains the manner in which individuals experience strain and their response to the strain during these adverse situations. According to general strain theory, a lack of goal attainment, negative experiences, and loss can lead to strain. And individuals who experience strain are more susceptible to emotions and behaviors that lead to problematic outcomes. And then when looking at attachment theory, which emerged from Bowlby in 1958, they look at the work with children and parents. So this theory suggests that children who are consistently cared for have stronger and healthier attachments with their caregivers. And alternatively, when parents provide inconsistent support, children maintain less secure attachments. So according to Bowlby, the equality of early parent-child interactions plays a significant role in the development of a child's relationships across their entire lifespan. Now looking at, I also included risk and resilience theories. So that is originating from Luther, Sacchetti, and Becker, Rudder, and Sroufe. They have recognized that children's successful adaptation in the face of stressful life events like the incarceration of a parent varies as a function of two things: the form and frequency of the risks and the protective or resilience factors that buffer the child from the adverse events. So the first set of factors consists of positive individual attributes. Children who have easy temperaments and high self-esteem and who are intelligent and independent are more adaptable in the face of stressful life experiences. So girls and women have a slight edge on resilience in comparison with boys or men. The second set of protective factors is found in a supportive family environment. The presence of a supportive parent can help buffer the adverse effects on poverty, divorce, or incarceration. And the final set of factors involves people outside of the family, so the school system, peer groups, or churches who support children and parents' coping efforts. So some of the services that are kind of in place for families who might have an incarcerated parent, children, and also looking at the specifically the incarcerated parents. I listed a few of them here. There are probably many more. So first I listed the Angel Tree program, and what this is, it connects parents in prison with their children through the delivery of Christmas gifts for those who celebrate this holiday. So Angel Tree is a prison fellowship program, and it is nationwide. The next one I included is Skip Inc., or Saving Kids of Incarcerated Parents. And this has franchises around the world. This program works with youth and their caregivers to establish a supportive circle of positive relationships around every child. The next one is Assisting Families of Inmates. So this is based in Virginia, and they specialize in providing programs for children of incarcerated parents. Specifically, they create opportunities for visiting an inmate parent. The next one is Children of Inmates, and that is a Florida-based organization that helps to keep the lines of communication open between children and their incarcerated parents. The next one is Our Children, and that is in Long Island City. And that is, they have a comprehensive services to incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women and their families. And what they do is they provide supportive housing, mentoring programs, food pantries, working re-entry programs, and providing playrooms at correctional facilities for visitation. And then lastly, I just included a directory of programs serving children and families in the incarcerated That way there's a whole host of different resources included there. So some interventions that I included at the micro level, how social workers can intervene with this population, encouraging emotional expression with the kids, using age appropriate sort of activities and tasks, puppets, drawing, music, and role playing to help them sort of express their feelings in a healthy way. At a meso level, providing resources, housing opportunities, benefit coordination, coordination of services between entities in the child's world, including, schools, mental health services, state agencies such as child welfare services and court systems. And then on the macro level, seeking to support legislative change that secures visitation for children as appropriate, parenting classes for incarcerated parents, programs for reentry that work to reunite and strengthen the family. Furthermore, the counselor can really be an effective change agent by supporting community involvement via education and awareness, building activities, and support groups in the community. So the conclusion here is just with incarceration rates continuing to increase, the need to support children and families in this sort of setting is also increasing. So really trying to make sure that children are supported. They have a whole host of people surrounding them while the parent may be incarcerated, to give that full support. Helping the incarcerated parents to connect to different sort of resources. Employment, education, housing before being released, and providing that sort of follow-up care as well. And providing or creating supports in the communities that are really hard hit by incarceration rates or may not have the resources that are readily available for those sorts of families. And here are just some of the resources that I used throughout this presentation. Thank you for watching.